In the quiet cemetery, a black billionaire collapsed at his daughter's grave, his whole body shaking like his soul had been ripped apart. His tears soaked into the cold stone. Unaware that just a few steps behind the old oak tree, the same 9-year-old girl the world believed was dead was standing alive, shivering, holding a secret that could save him or destroy everything. The cemetery was silent, the kind of quiet that made the world feel like it was holding its breath. Marcus Hale, a man who could command boardrooms with a single word, was on his knees, crumpled over a small marble headstone. His designer suit hung loose, his hands trembling like leaves in a storm. Tears soaked the cold stone. He didn't notice the rustling leaves. He didn't notice the sunlight casting long shadows across the graves. Nothing mattered. Only her. "Baby girl, I'm so sorry," he whispered, voice breaking. "Daddy couldn't save you." For 6 months, rain or shine, snow or heat, Marcus had come here every week, not caring who saw, not caring what they whispered about the billionaire who had it all falling apart. Not money, not power, not his empire, only her. And yet, today, everything was about to change. Behind the shadow of a tall, old oak, a small figure pressed herself against the rough bark. Bare feet, dirty knees, tangled curls, 9 years old, alive, watching. Her name was Ari Hale, kidnapped 6 months ago. Everyone believed she was dead. Burned out evidence. A note confirming her death. Everyone believed it, except her father. And she carried a secret so dangerous, revealing it too soon could destroy everything. Her lips trembled, barely audible. "Dad, I still—" Those words, the same ones on the thumbnail, landed like a hammer. Real. Alive. Right behind him. Marcus froze. His heart skipped, every nerve on fire. The tiny, trembling voice that had haunted his dreams for months. It was here. "Dad, I still—" He turned slowly, eyes widening, breath catching. And there she was. Ari Hale, his daughter, alive, 10 feet away. Messy curls, torn clothes, tiny hands clutching the oak for balance, her eyes wide, but filled with determination stronger than fear. Marcus couldn't speak. Nothing he had built mattered. Not his billions, not his empire. Only this moment. Only her. But then, a shadow shifted behind the oak. Someone else, watching, waiting. Ari's eyes widened, fear flashing. She gripped the tree tighter. "Dad, I still need you," she whispered. Marcus's knees hit the gravel, hands shaking, breath ragged. He stepped forward, then another step, each one feeling like a lifetime. Wind whipped his jacket against his leg. He reached for her, but the shadow didn't move. Danger lurked. "Is it really you?" he whispered. Ari nodded, tears streaming down her dirt-streaked cheeks. "I'm real. Daddy, I escaped. I'm here." Marcus dropped to his knees in front of her, hands hovering over her tiny shoulders, afraid she might vanish if he touched her. All the power, all the money, all the empire. It meant nothing now. Only her. Alive. Safe. For now. But the shadow moved again, eyes cold. Watching. Waiting. Marcus understood instantly. The nightmare wasn't over. It had only just begun. Who is the shadow? Why did Ari escape now? And what secret has she been hiding all this time? Branches whipped Ari's face, scratching her arms, while her bare feet slammed against rocks and roots, bleeding but moving. Every sound in the woods made her flinch, the crack of a twig, the distant howl of a dog, even the whisper of the wind. But she pressed on, memorizing every hill, every shadow, every faint highway sound she'd learned in captivity. 6 months trapped in a tiny, dark room with nothing but a mattress and a bucket, a drunk guard on Saturdays, a stepmother who smiled while plotting poison. Those months had forged her small, strong hands into instruments of survival. And tonight, the key she'd discovered 3 weeks ago had freed her. Adrenaline surged, heart hammering, thighs burning. Every step was a fight against exhaustion, against fear. But she didn't look back. Only one thought drove her forward. Marcus Hale, the man she had seen crying at her grave, the man who believed she was dead. He was waiting. The woods opened near the city outskirts. Skyline lights flickered in the distance, guiding her through the dark. She stumbled, scraped her palms, but she didn't cry. She never had. Behind her, a branch snapped. Footsteps? Someone or something was following. Her stomach dropped. Pulse tripled. She ducked behind a bush, pressed to the ground, heart rattling, waiting. Minutes passed. Legs cramped, back ached. But finally the footsteps faded. Relief slammed into her chest. She had made it. She was free. But freedom came with its own nightmare. She had overheard Stella's conversations with the boss, caught subtle hints in every phone call, and remembered the poisoned tea and the pills Marcus had been taking. If anyone discovered she'd escaped, everything would be over. She pressed forward, running the last stretch toward Oakwood Cemetery, dirt and blood streaking her face, every step driven by one burning desire to reach her father. The gates loomed. She slowed, ducking behind the stone walls, peeking through the rusted iron bars. There he was, kneeling at the marble headstone, shoulders shaking, tears streaming, and behind it, the oak tree. She crept closer, barely daring to breathe, shadow from the woods now gone. But danger wasn't over. Step lightly. Speak softly. Don't move. Just reach him. Finally, she whispered, "Dad, I still—" The voice shattered the silence. The same words on the thumbnail. The title. The hook. Marcus froze, head shooting up, heart racing, eyes wide. The billionaire who had conquered empires now trembled at the impossible. And there she was, Ari Hale, bloodied, dirt-streaked, trembling, alive, standing right behind the oak tree. Before he could move, Ari's eyes flicked toward a shadow behind the tree. Someone watching. Danger wasn't done. Marcus's instincts kicked in. Boardroom dominance, leadership, every skill he had ever possessed now focused on protecting his daughter. He whispered, voice barely audible, "Stay behind me." Ari nodded, fear mixing with determination. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. And just like that, their reunion teetered on the edge of chaos. Every secret, every danger still lurking, every heartbeat counting toward the storm that had only just begun. Marcus's hands shook as he reached for Ari, every fiber of his body screaming disbelief, relief, and terror all at once. His knees hit the cold ground. He swallowed hard, voice catching. "Baby girl, it's really you?" Ari nodded, dirt streaking her cheeks, curls falling across her forehead, tiny hands gripping his trembling arms like she was holding on to both hope and life itself. "I'm real, Dad. I escaped. I'm here," she whispered, voice cracking but firm. Marcus's breath hitched, and he dropped fully to his knees, pulling her into an embrace. She fit into his arms like she always had, but smaller, fragile, impossibly strong. 6 months of horror had sharpened her in ways no child should ever know. Her eyes, wide with fear and determination, told him she had survived everything. Alone. For a heartbeat, the world stopped. Only the two of them existed, bound by love, pain, and the shared nightmare of the last half-year. Then Marcus felt it, the hairs on his neck rising. A shadow shifted near the oak tree. Movement, watching, calculating. "Dad, stay calm," Ari whispered, pulling back just enough to look around. Her voice, though small, carried the weight of everything she had endured. "I think someone's still watching us." Marcus's mind raced. Stella, the guard. Someone dangerous. They had tracked Ari. This wasn't just a reunion, it was a trap in motion. "Stay behind me," he said, voice low, authoritative. The billionaire CEO who could command cities now focused on one mission: protect his daughter. Ari nodded, stepping close, bare feet pressing into the gravel, tiny hands gripping his suit jacket, every inch of her body alert, every sense sharp. The shadow lingered at the edge of the clearing, barely visible in the moonlight. Patient, watching, hungry. "They'll know I escaped," Ari whispered. "They'll come after us." Marcus's jaw tightened. His empire had faced hostile takeovers, lawsuits, betrayal, but nothing prepared him for this. The people who had taken his daughter, faked her death, poisoned him slowly, now knew she was alive. He pulled her close. "We're not going anywhere until we figure this out. But we have to be smart. They want panic. They want mistakes. We don't give them that chance." Ari tilted her head. "I know how they operate. The guard, he's careless. Stella thinks you're weaker than you really are." Marcus's eyes narrowed, calculating every possibility. Every move he had ever made in business now applied to surviving this nightmare and protecting Ari. He lifted her carefully into his arms, every movement precise, alert. The shadow lingered, waiting. "Dad, I survived for this. For you," she whispered, pressing her face to his chest. Marcus pressed his lips to her hair. "And I'll survive for you, every single day, I swear." But the shadow, still there, watching, waiting, calculating. Their relief was temporary. The nightmare had only just begun. Who is the shadow? How much danger is still coming for them? And what will happen next? Marcus drove through the empty back roads, Ari in the passenger seat, her small hands gripping the edge of the seat, eyes wide with fear and determination. City lights flickered faintly on the dashboard, but all he could see was her, and the weight of everything she had endured. "Dad, I remember things," she whispered, voice low. "Every phone call Stella made, every plan the guard talked about. They're dangerous." Marcus tightened his grip on the steering wheel. He had faced rivals, lawsuits, corporate sharks, but betrayal from inside his own home, from blood he trusted, from a woman who smiled while plotting his death. This was different. And now, Ari carried the knowledge to save them, or get them killed. He pulled into a deserted gas station, abandoned and quiet, a place for privacy, for planning. "Talk to me, Ari," he said softly, careful of her scraped arms. "Every detail, every voice. I need it all." She took a deep breath, dirt and blood smudging her face. "The guard, he calls himself Rye. He works for Stella. She told him how to keep you weak. The pills, the tea, poison. She wants your fortune. And Mark, your brother, is helping her. I heard them plotting about me, too. They said I'm a loose end. They were going to take care of me after you were gone." Rage bubbled under Marcus's calm exterior. His own wife, his own brother, plotting to destroy his family. He pressed the accelerator. "We can't go to the police, not yet. If they find out you're alive, they'll move faster, disappear you before anyone can stop them." Ari's eyes widened. "Then, what do we do?" Marcus scanned the empty streets, mind calculating. "We fight smart. Cameras, recordings, every conversation, every act. We catch them red-handed, and when the time is right, we expose them. They won't see it coming." Ari's hands trembled, but nodded. "I can help. I know the house, the rooms, the bottles, the cabinets. I know where they hide things." Marcus swallowed hard, chest heavy with emotion. "You're braver than anyone I've ever known. You survived 6 months alone. Together we'll take them down. But we must be careful. No one can see you, not friends, not neighbors." She pressed her lips together. "I survived that room. I can survive this. For you, Dad." Every turn, every mile, was a step toward reclaiming their lives. Danger didn't sleep. Somewhere, Rye, Stella, and Mark were moving, watching, planning. Marcus parked in front of an old apartment building owned by David Mitchell, his trusted attorney. David's face went pale at the sight of Ari. "Marcus, is she—" "She's alive. She escaped," Marcus said firmly. "We need to move fast. Stella and Mark are still dangerous. They think they won." David nodded, already calculating. "We hide her. Document everything. When the time comes, they won't just lose. They'll be finished." Ari clutched Marcus's arm, relief and fear mingling in her gaze. He knelt, pulling her close. "We fight smart. We don't make mistakes. Not this time. We've been through hell, baby girl, but it ends now, and we end it together." Outside, the city hummed, unaware of the quiet battle being planned. Shadows moved, phones buzzed, whispers carried secrets. Marcus didn't sleep. Every scenario, every sound, every shadow accounted for. Ari, curled on a small couch, slept fitfully, dreaming of the dark room she had escaped. But in her dreams, Marcus's voice whispered, "We survive. We fight. Together." And for the first time in 6 months, she allowed herself to hope. The courthouse loomed tall, stone pillars gleaming under the early morning sun, reporters swarming the steps, cameras flashing, microphones thrust forward. The world had been waiting for the Harrison estate drama to conclude, but nobody expected what was about to happen. Inside, Stella sat at the plaintiff's table, composed in elegant black silk handkerchief, dabbing at tears she didn't feel, while Mark sat beside her, forcing a solemn face, fingers drumming nervously. Every paper, every fake certificate of Marcus's death, every staged detail had been meticulously planned. Victory seemed inevitable. Then the doors burst open. Silence slammed the room. Every head turned. Cameras swung. And there he was, Marcus Harrison, alive, standing tall, eyes cold with controlled fury, the daughter he had fought for gripping his hand. Ari, small but unbroken, met every gaze with defiance, eyes shining with determination. "I think," Marcus said, voice low but cutting through the stunned hush, "there may be some objections after all." Chaos erupted. Reporters shouted. The judge slammed her gavel, struggling to regain control. Stella's hand trembled over the pen, composure crumbling under shock. Mark's jaw hung open, disbelief and fear wrestling for dominance. David Mitchell, Marcus's trusted attorney, stepped forward, calm authority radiating. "Your Honor," he said, voice steady, "I represent Marcus Harrison, who is very much alive, and I present evidence that Stella and Mark Harrison conspired to kidnap Mr. Harrison's daughter, fake his death, and poison him to inherit his estate." The judge's eyes widened as David placed a thick folder on the bench. Video recordings, audio surveillance, photographs of hidden bottles, testimony from the guard who had held Ari captive, every piece meticulously documented. Stella screamed, rage and disbelief mingling. "This is insane! Impossible! He's dead! She's dead! I watched her burn!" Marcus's voice cut through, calm, icy, and unforgiving. "Did you? Or did you just assume your plan worked? You were going to kill me, my own blood, for money." Mark froze, pale, words failing. FBI agents advanced, handcuffs ready. Stella twisted toward Marcus, mask falling away, revealing raw hatred. "You should have died," she spat. "Everything was mine." Marcus said nothing, shielding Ari as chaos erupted, cameras capturing every twisted expression. By nightfall, headlines dominated the nation. "Black billionaire alive exposes family betrayal. 9-year-old survivor helps father take down would-be killers." Social media exploded. Interview requests flooded in, but Marcus ignored them all. Nothing mattered but Ari. In the weeks that followed, police reports, legal proceedings, and media scrutiny blurred together. Stella and Mark were formally charged with kidnapping, attempted murder, and conspiracy. Rye, the guard, was caught fleeing the state and confessed, sealing their fate. Back home, Marcus and Ari walked through the estate's familiar rooms. Elegant, vast, filled with art. The house felt different now, clean, safe, reclaimed. Ari's hand tightened around Marcus's as they approached the small marble headstone that had haunted him for 6 months. She knelt, tracing her name in stone. "They wanted to bury me," she whispered, "not just in the ground, but in memory. They wanted me gone." Marcus handed her a sledgehammer. Together, swing after swing, they shattered the stone into rubble, destroying the lie that had almost killed them. Holding Ari close, Marcus whispered, "You survived what no one else could. I will live every day to protect you. Every day, Ari. I swear." Ari smiled, the first real smile in months, eyes shining with hope and courage. "I know you will, Dad." Together they walked away from the cemetery, from the lies, from betrayal. The morning sun broke through the clouds, illuminating the future they had fought for, scarred, stronger, and finally, safe. If this story gave you chills or brought tears to your eyes, smash that heart and tell me in the comments what you'd do if you were in their shoes. And don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping, edge-of-your-seat stories you won't believe are real.